Hey there, thanks for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. It's your girl Valerie again. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 4. It's surprising. We're now at episode 4. I remember making a comment on Twitter when someone was saying, "Oh, when do we get the weddings?" This was in episode 1. And I said, well, chances are by episode 3 and 4. And I guess I was right because although they started at episode 1, we're still going on the weddings. We haven't finished. So in this episode, the couples get to go on their honeymoon and we get to see Ben and Morgan's wedding. I love Ben. I'm going to say I love Ben. I think Ben and Miguel are my two favorite husbands this season. It's very rare that I always get one or two favorites, but this season it's Miguel and Ben. I'm not sure. I think Nate is growing on me. Nate is growing on me. He's done a couple of things. I said a couple of things that have sort of made me go, "Oh," but still, I think I like him. Anyway, I'll review the couples and we'll see how we go. So it's the night of the wedding, and we see the couples obviously go to their honeymoon suites, and then in the morning they get to meet the partner's family. And but I quite noticed in the conversation, it's always strange some of the things that people will reveal when they have these sit downs the morning after the wedding. And I don't know whether the production crew have told them what to say, or whether families are just so excited to be on camera and just let loose and say some of the things that are just shocking. And you're looking at them like, oh my God. Anyway, so with Stacia and Nate, Stacia meets with Nate's dad and Nate's friend. I think they're growing on me. I think the only thing I'm worried about with Nate and Stacia is the fact that obviously there's the incident at the bachelor party, the way Nate behaved with one of the strippers, and then he's this girl who was crying, about him at his wedding, and then now is the fact that he was having a conversation with the production. I think they were interviewing him in his confessional, and he was sort of saying that, he's looking forward to having sex before the end of the honeymoon, and the first thing that came to mind was Michael. And then to Stasia's family, he said, he was happy to wait and just follow Stasia's lead. And then the second time on camera, he said he was, when he had a conversation with Stasia, he agreed that they just didn't want to have sex for the sake of having sex. And then the next thing they were in the shower, and God knows what took place in the shower. And so when they had a sit down, I liked Nate's dad because Nate's dad was honest with Stasia, obviously explained about his son and his love for his son and his hopes and his dreams for his son in his marriage. And on her part, Stasia seems very respectful. She seemed to own to her own sort of faults or weaknesses or areas that she felt she needed to develop and was open to learning about her husband. So I really liked that conversation. Nate, on his part, had a sit down with Stasia's mom and sort of sisters, I think, or friend. I don't quite remember. He had a similar conversation. They did ask questions that I felt were very important. They asked him about, the baggage that he brings. And he was honest about the fact that he grew up, he doesn't know his mom. He's only met his mom once, but he grew up with his dad. And, he has his own ideas of what he would want to do in regards family and, the sort of his goals for himself and his family and to create sort of memories with his family and sort of create his own traditions with his family. And so it was nice to see that he has the capacity to be vulnerable and he has the capacity to open up. And this was also evident on the night of the when they got to their honeymoon, where they had conversations about, what would you consider to be something that is your weakness or area of that needs further development. And he spoke about colorism and sort of how he felt isolated when he was growing up. And it seems Stasia felt the same. And it was surprising that this is their second day after they've got married and they're opening up this much to one another. And I think if they continue to build on that, if they continue to be open to sort of open to understanding their partner, open to growing and to developing as a couple. I can see them actually working and being successful. They did meet up with the other couples, and it's sad to say this sex question. I don't know why Married at First Sight likes to talk about sex with the partners. I don't know whether it's because the fans want to or whether it's just them. I think it's a bit cringe. I think they just need to ask it once and that's it, and not keep bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. Anyway, I digress. From there we go to Alexis and Justin. Alexis and Justin seem to be blissfully happy. I don't know how long that will last. I think they're infatuated with one another. Alexis is infatuated with the idea that, you know, Justin is over 6 feet. Justin is just infatuated with this girl. He really likes her and he wants to create a great impression. I don't know how long that will last. Obviously, Justin sat down with Alexis' family and had a conversation with his sister, and they were talking about their goals, and I didn't quite catch it. I'm sorry, I blacked out. I just blacked out because something is a bit off for me with Alexis and Justin, because Alexis seems so obsessed, or it seems to constantly talk about the fact that Justin has been celibate for a year and a half. When she met up with Justin's mother, that's the first thing that came to mind. That's the first thing she said, and it was sort of like, why? That's his mom. It's not necessary. And I think Justin's brother felt some type of way. This is why the mother came with a family friend, I think. I'm surprised the brother didn't come to sit down with Alexis and have a conversation, but it could be me reading a lot into to nothing. Obviously, they discussed the fact that Alexis has been engaged, asked, proposed to 3 times, and they were nervous about that. And everybody keeps bringing up this fact that he's very sensitive. Justin is very sensitive. I hope production is not going to play this over and over again. I hope this is something that they'll just say for a bit and then move on. Um, and with Justin, he had a conversation, obviously, with Alex's family. They wanted to know what happened with his broken engagement, why he didn't get married, and sort of why that happened. Um, they seem infatuated with one another, I think, and I hope that doesn't blind them to the idea of getting to know one another. I know they did own up to the fact that they knew each other from Hinge, they matched on Hinge, but unfortunately Alexis had not responded. And this is not the first time people have known each other prior to being matched or married at first sight. I remember we had, oh my God, what's that guy from New Orleans? Ben, I have forgotten his name, the very awkward couple. And also, Woody and Amani said they had previously met. So I hope that's a benefit, the fact that they've previously matched on Hinge. And so they have a lot of things in common. But then, hey, it could be there is a reason why she didn't accept. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then Mitch and Kristen. Kristen's family were acting of Mitch, and I'm surprised. Production, most production is very shady. They know that, they've heard all the comments that Mitch has said about Kristen's mom, and guess what? They sat them opposite, facing each other, and it's just like, that's his mom. You could have put her to your side and just put maybe one of the friends or the sisters, and not just made it awkward. Because obviously, when the mom sees all that, obviously she might not know what he's been saying about the mom, and seeing her and thinking that was his partner. So the mom was worried about what Mitch's intentions were and whether he saw their marriage working, or he had any sort of there were any red flags that they need to look out for. Mitch himself is a red flag, and his family, the way they described him, you think they hate him. You think they hate him because I'm surprised. Kristen is very positive person, because I would have asked, why are you all saying such negative things about him? His brother talked about how stubborn he can be. The sister-in-law brought up the fact that they once were they want they there was a time they didn't get along, and it's just like, this is not the information you need to give someone that you're meeting for the second time. I think maybe they should have just said to her, be mindful, he can be a handful at times. Any problems, call us anytime and we'll help you with whatever we can. But it seems everybody, Mitch's mum, Mitch's sister-in-law, Mitch's brother, everybody had something negative to say. And it's such a red flag that Mitch keeps pinpointing things he doesn't like about Christine, and Christine doesn't say anything. I wish with someone like Mitch, I wish they could match him with Lindsay. Lindsay would put him back in his, would sit him down and really give him a piece of her mind, and he would never, ever, ever, ever be as I think it's coming across as more disrespectful now. The fact that he's told that I don't like you with makeup on and all shiny or whatever. They got the honeymoon parcel. He wouldn't allow her to use the celebration little poppers, and it's just like why? Why are you such a party pooper? When things go your way, you want them done. If he was such an environmentalist, you shouldn't have worn a fancy suit to his wedding. You should have gone through and made such a big deal about, oh, I need to be shaved this way, I need to do that, I need to, because that's not necessary. He's a naturalist. He should have gone by that. And so I think it's a red flag. This is why I commented on the very first day that I saw him throw a fit about his beard. I said, they need to have decision day for Kristen and just and thingy and Mitch and just say that's it because poor lady, poor lady. I hope she I pray for her until decision day. 8 weeks is going to be a very long time for her. Anyway, from there we move on to my other favorite couple, Miguel and Lindy. Miguel and Lindy for me. I am nervous because I think Lindy needs to take a deep breath for a minute and just relax and calm herself down. It's the same for Morgan because I think they're going to run away very good guys because, in my opinion, Ben, Miguel, and maybe Nate, if Nate is behaving himself, are three of the best guys on this season. So Miguel seems very mild tempered, very even killed. He doesn't seem easily phased by anything. And they did have a conversation, obviously, the night before. Um, and I think Lindsay is someone I think who she might. I don't know. I don't want to diagnose her. But she seems to be someone who's always very anxious at the slightest thing, and she seems to panic a lot because she couldn't find the pajamas, and she started throwing a fit about that. And you could tell Miguel was sort of questioning that, oh my god, what have I got myself into, what have I got myself into? And then from there they had the conversation with their families, and her family brought up the sex question. I don't know why a mother would want to discuss sex with a new son-in-law, but hey, it is what it is. Um and the brother, I think Lindsay's mother and brother are very caring, but the way they're coming across is, I don't know whether it's because of the sort of church sort of whatever's wherever she grew up in that sort of commune society that she grew up in, whether that's the reason why the communication is a bit so forced and a bit so awkward, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just judging from what I saw because I don't know. And I like Miguel is very patient in the sense that someone else would have just cut them off and just said, no, that's it. I think if they were matched, if she was matched with Mr. Blessed, Blessed would have told him, no, that's it. I won't tolerate that anymore. That's enough. But at least Miguel was sitting down and he was willing to listen to them and sort of explain himself, which I think is a good asset. That if he doesn't sort of check out, Lindy could benefit from. She could seriously benefit from being matched with Miguel. Someone on Twitter and I were having a conversation and they were saying, "Oh, Miguel should have been paired with Morgan," and I thought, no, Miguel is he's a very patient guy. He comes across as patient and very sort of even tempered. But I think Morgan would just run into the ground, should be too much for him. Whereas Lindsay, it's sort of just sort of helping her to sort of calm down. And I think once she's calm, then everything should be okay. Lindsay, on her part, met with Miguel's sister, and Miguel said, I am concerned. I am concerned. I am concerned. And her concerns were way too many for my liking. I understand the fact that she's concerned that her brother, she doesn't want her brother to take on somebody's financial burden, but she shouldn't be judging Lindy by somebody else's standard or by the history from previous relationships, because I understand people are married at first sight. When they get married, they sort of send some sort of prenup whereby you whatever you come in with is what you live with. And so the fact that Lindy is educated and she is working, I think she should be able to sort out her own financial burdens. And the same thing about the communication is Lindy, every time she was asked a question, she was sort of parroting the question in a response. Like they said, oh, Miguel likes someone who's motivated and is very hardworking and whatever. Yes, I am motivated, I'm hardworking. And it's just like, oh. this is going to be, a piece of work. But I think if Miguel is patient and if he puts in the work, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by Lindy. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And I think if Lindy on her part opens up and is willing to learn and is willing to receive help, she will also be pleasantly surprised. Obviously, Miguel was concerned about the financial burden, and he said, you know, um, I've looked after somebody before financially. I don't want to do that. I'm not a sugar daddy, which makes sense. He's not the first person to complain about financial issues. Um, what's his name? Olajuwon did the same thing last year, on last season. So it's understandable. I wish them all the best anyway. I really want them to work. And then Ben and Morgan got married. Oh, I love Ben. I think Ben is an amazing husband, and I think he'll make Morgan an amazing husband. Um, I think people misunderstand him. That's my opinion. Because everybody's saying, oh, he's a mama's boy. I like the fact that he's a mama's boy and he appears to care and love his mom very much. If he can be half that man for his wife, then his wife is blessed, because the way he was talking to his mother, the way he was sort of making sure that she felt safe and she felt heard, if he is half that man to his wife, then his wife is blessed. And if Morgan can just take a deep breath every time she sees herself about to go into fight or flight mode, she'll be surprised. I think they're a good match. When couples will initially match, they'll question the matches, but I think they're a good match. And I think, if nothing else, if she just comes down. And I like the fact that when they went to recite their vows, Morgan had hers written down and been she was sort of I think she was worried that, why doesn't he have his written down? He told her, I've got mine written down, but I just want to tell them to you. And they were very sweet and very endearing. I'm very biased when it comes to Ben. I really am biased. I'm sorry, but I really like him and I hope he doesn't let me down. But then I see in a future clip, Morgan is going to storm off saying that he lied to her. I hope it's not about the COVID issue. It might be about his mom and her opinion of Morgan, but I hope it's nothing serious. Anyway, I love their wedding. I really wish them all the best. We really didn't get to see the families have Bin and Morgan's family have conversations with them. I think that will take place next week. Anyway, I digress. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.